Oh, shit. Here we go again. As always, we got to kick this podcast off with thanking this man right here, Jonathan La Parrilla. He supports the show on Patreon. Hoping you guys will join up with him. He will forever be our executive producer. Everybody will fall under him, as I've told you before. As always, my brother John, man, thank you so much for supporting the show. Can't thank you enough. Like always, you give us ideas, credits, memes, and different shit to talk about on the show. We sometimes listen to it, and most of the time we just make fun of each other. My brother, I love you, and be safe during this crazy time, man. All right, man, let's get going with the show. Yo, what are you doing right now?
The big V. Look, man.
All right, man, let's just jump right into this shit.
I made my wife wake up and drive me there anyway. Es a major.
Pues con eso.
Pues con español. ¿Qué pasó, papá? ¿Cómo estás? Any questions?
Now, when you bought that sweater, right? You just go, fuck it. I'm going full Mr. Rogers. You've tuned into the Man Chatter podcast. All right, guys. As you can tell, as you can see, it's just me today. My good brother, Jonathan Vallejo, is recovering from a sleep study last night. Didn't stop him from sending me messages at 8 o'clock in the morning because he was telling me that his shoulder hurt and he woke up 6 times throughout the night. We'll be doing a Christmas special live to Facebook Wednesday, most likely. And any topics you want us to cover, obviously we'll be talking about what we're thankful for, how crazy this year has been. But yeah, man, just trying to focus on the positive. You know, as always, just talk a little shit and see where it goes. But yeah, so I started keto. Let me be honest about this shit, right? I've slowly started to transition to keto, to starting keto. I've bought the food. I've implemented different recipes into my diet. Still had a lot of food at the house that we had to get rid of because, like I told you guys on the show before, on our last episode, I didn't want to just jump right into it and throw away all this food that hadn't gone bad because financially I'm not at a place, and I'll never be at a place where I'm comfortable just throwing away food. I've wasted food before. It's well documented. I've let asparagus go bad. Cheese has gone bad in my fridge, and different things have spoiled in my fridge. That's happened. But I'll never be one to throw away food that isn't spoiled, right? Just from my childhood, I've never been comfortable. You know, I grew up never starving, but I know what it's like to struggle. My mom used to not have enough money to feed the both of us. So I remember every Friday my mom would get me McDonald's, but it would only be like McDonald's for me. And like she'd just pick off my fries because, you know, we didn't have enough money for both of us to eat. It was before my younger brother. So I'll never be the one to just throw away good food. So just trying to be better about that shit. So, you know, we're getting rid of the food that isn't keto or is high in carbs that, you know, so my wife is not eating that as much, and we're just slowly making the change, right? Like I'm being more conscious about what I'm putting into my body. Look, as you can tell, I'm a big guy, 6'2", 320, weighed myself this morning. So that's got to change. I'm trying to get down to like 265. I'm trying to get down to UFC heavyweight weight. But yeah, so started keto, bought all the food, spent like $400 at Sam's Club. And I'm pretty sure that all that meat, like the chicken wings, chicken thighs, the ground beef, the ribs, the ribeyes, I think we bought like flank steak, all that stuff is going to get incorporated into my diet because I've yo-yo dieted too many times in the past, right? Where like I won't stick to anything too long because I quit everything cold turkey, and I'm trying to just, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to just quickly change. And it hasn't worked for me, right? Like, just being honest, it hasn't worked for me, and it hasn't worked for a lot of people. I'm not alone in this. I understand that. So I'm trying to figure that whole thing out. So there's still things that I'm eating that I shouldn't be, right? That hopefully in the future, within the next 2 weeks, all that food should be gone and it should be full on keto. But I've made, like last night, I made a Philly cheesesteak casserole, which is flank steak, 2 eggs, right? You make it into an egg, flank steak, peppers, garlic, onions, and then you cook the flank steak first. Then you add in the garlic, you add in the onions and the green pepper, I think like a tablespoon of soy sauce, and then cream cheese, right? Because it's like heavy on dairy, and heavy on dairy and fats. And the reason why I started is because my neighbor, he's an older gentleman. He's probably like in his mid to late 70s now. He started keto, and then people I know, a lot of people I know have done keto. Like one of my good friends, Eric John, is on keto. He's a big guy too. He's losing weight, and we're helping and inspiring each other. Like he's telling me about chaffles, which is an egg and cheese, and then you just mix it up and then throw it into like a mini waffle maker, which I just bought this past week. But yeah, so like I was saying, last night bought I bought the waffle maker. Last night I made the Philly cheesesteak casserole, which is flank steak. You can make it with like ribeye and like different kinds of steaks, whatever you want to make. But I ended up using flank steak because I'm gonna use the rest of the flank steak because I only used a pound and a half of that to make ropa vieja. So it was like flank steak, peppers, minced garlic, onions, Worcestershire sauce. Never know quite how to say that. Then you have sour cream, which is like I think you needed like 2 ounces of that. Mix it in a pan, and then put it in a baking plate. And then you add in 2 eggs, a mixture of 2 eggs. Can't remember the rest of it. 2 eggs, heavy whipping cream, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then you just drizzle it. And then you add 4 to 5 pieces of provolone cheese. You lay it on top, and you bake it in the oven for 350 because everything's already cooked. It's just about melting down the cheese and getting it all congealed and connected together. So it was delicious, man. I actually it's like 4 to 5 servings, 4 to 6 servings that you get out of the 8x11 baking dish. So got that done. I ate that last night, and I ate some more today for lunch. And I'm also trying to incorporate intermittent fasting, where like I don't eat till later in the day, and try to cut myself off eating around 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And then I just wait 14 to 16 hours and eat the next day. It's something I've done in the past. It's actually not something that difficult for me because it's just basically skipping breakfast. And so what I'll mostly do is just have breakfast for dinner. Like for dinner tonight, I'll have eggs and bacon, probably 3 strips of bacon, and then probably 2 chaffles, which is just egg and cheese. And it's really easy. You just make it right there in the little mini waffle maker. And it's cool, man. It's weird though, like eating like that because I'm not as hungry, and I almost feel like because of what I'm eating, it like because I'm not just eating like air and salad or fucking ice chips and lettuce, like it's harder to believe that this stuff is successful, just because I'm not used to eating stuff like, or believing that stuff like steak during a diet is going to be good for you or shit like that. You should just be eating chicken and veggies, right? Like that's all stuff me and like my boy Danny used to talk about and I used to eat. Got to the point where I got tired of fucking eating broccoli. And so bought all the snacks, pork rinds, different shit like that. Watched a bunch of videos on YouTube from this guy Thomas DeLauer, and talking about it with my friend Eric John, and I know my boy Ula, Oula, was a big proponent of keto. It was successful for him. So just slowly trying to transition and not trying to cut myself off cold turkey because too many times I've jumped right back into fucking up. Like almost within a week to 10 days, I'm like, I can't do it because like the addiction and the withdrawals is too much. So I'm just trying to slowly merge off of it. Not trying to have the night sweats or anything crazy like that. But yeah, I'm really trying to do it, man. I've this COVID, this pandemic, 10 months, and not really. I can't even blame it all on this. I've been eating like shit for way too long, and that's got to change. So, root for me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna be easy. Am I gonna slip? Yes. I'm just trying to focus on if I have a bad meal, I don't make it a bad day of eating bad meals, or I don't make it a bad week. You know what I mean? Like I give myself a grace period and understand that it's gonna be hard, but try to stay on the road as much as possible. It's gonna have speed bumps and shit like that, but just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to act like I'm gonna have everything done right away and I'm gonna figure it all out. It's gonna be perfect. Bum, 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 bum. No, it has to be. I have to slowly merge into a discipline that I haven't had probably in the last 5-6 years. I've been eating. Like before we moved here, we used to eat out all the time, and now we buy too many snacks. And I was like, oh, but it won't be bad if we just have this one snack. And it's been me mostly. You know what I mean? I eat like shit when I drive because you guys know I drive for a living. So I'm just trying to get that shit together. But yeah, man, I'll keep you guys updated on and up to date on how I'm eating and what new recipes I'm trying. First of all, chaffles are good. Was not a fan of a regular Belgian waffle. It was too floury. Chaffles are super easy. It's just mozzarella cheese, like 6 ounces, and an egg. And you mix it up, and then you drip it into a mini waffle maker. You let it cook up, and then you eat it. That's it. You don't even have to put syrup. It's good. It's just egg and cheese. It's fucking great. I really recommend it. And you wouldn't think you like it, but it's actually pretty good because it's something that I never ate before. Saturday, I think I had it, and I made it. Bought a waffle maker from Walmart. It was like $9, and easy and good to go. But yeah, man, it's fun. It's enjoyable. It's not miserable for me. I'm able to snack on like cheese. I have my little cheese snacks and deli meat wraps with provolone cheeses, Colby Jack. Just a variety, so it doesn't start to feel monotonous. But that's what we doing, man. Let's get into the rest of the stuff I got into this past week. Oh yeah, listen, I had not watched Lord of the Rings probably 15 years. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Fellowship of the Ring, first of all, none of these are spoiler alerts, right? These movies came out 20 years ago. So you didn't watch it by now. Please don't listen to the rest of this, but you should have. So watch Fellowship of the Ring. It was a little rough. The graphics did not stand the test of time. The audio wasn't great. But the overall, first of all, the audio, maybe it was my TV or maybe the fact that I'm just progressively getting more and more deaf. But it was hard to listen to like Gandalf talk. I feel like he mumbled a lot of his shit. Like he was the Lord of the Rings mumble rapper. So that was something. And then you get into the story. The story is great, right? You have Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, which are the dwarf, the Return of the King, and the elf. You know what I mean? Part of the story, which is great. And then you have these 4 hobbits that are like the size of most of my friends standing up. God, I have some really short friends. But yeah. So I watched all 3, in 3 separate days. Couldn't have watched all fucking 3 in one day. That's like 9 hours of fucking movies almost. Because it's like 5.5 for 2 and 3.5. Yeah, so it's like 9 hours of movies. Impossible to watch all of that in one day. And I still have to be productive and live a fucking life. But so watched them over 3 separate days. Had a slow week last week. And they were fucking phenomenal, man. The third one obviously is the best one because they have like the longest battle at that time, I think, in cinematic history. It was like over an hour. Not an hour straight because they were like jump back into telling you the story of what's going on with Frodo and all this other shit. Dude, it was just a really good time. And obviously, like, the first 2 end with cliffhangers because, it's a trilogy. And then the third one gives you the conclusion. There was so much that I did not remember. Like, I didn't remember Fellowship of the Ring at all. Like, I kind of remembered obviously the ring shit and the Bilbo Baggins story and all that. I remembered all that. But it was like the smaller scenes of like what happened with Gandalf when he saw the ring and how it all started and, you know what I mean? And the story of Sauron, the evil wizard and all this different shit. I was like, damn, dude, I don't remember this movie at fucking all. So it was almost like I was watching it all again for the first time. It was just really good. Like I've noticed that. I don't know if it's just me, right? Because obviously I'm not the only one going through this shit. But it's good to just watch movies that are like lighthearted and aren't intense. Like obviously there's like intense battle scenes, but the good guys win in the end. If you don't know, sorry. Yeah, the good guys win. Would have been a shitty movie if like the fucking orcs win. That would have been ridiculous. But it was just, something to like veg out on and just enjoy for the cinematic. I'm not going to say masterpiece because, again, dude, the audio was a big issue for me. Again, don't know if it was just me. So if you guys have watched it recently, please let me know. So for me, it was a little bit of a struggle. But this guy right here, finally figured out which side I'm on with the camera. Frodo was a monster, bro. Like that guy killed every scene he was in. You could see the struggle on his face. It was just a good time of like figuring out how he was gonna get the ring to Mordor and all this different shit. So next, I think we're gonna try the Harry Potter series, which is 7 movies. So that's gonna take a little bit. But you also have the holidays this week with Christmas. So, got to watch Die Hard, probably Jingle All the Way, Home Alone, the Christmas classics. I don't know if Jingle All the Way is a Christmas classic, but it just popped into my head because um, I saw Chris Stuckman talking about it for his review for like probably holiday movies. Ah, dude, speaking of holiday movies, we watched some movie called Happiest Season on Hulu. So, it's a story about it's with Kristen Stewart and Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy's from Schitt's Creek, but he's like plays the best friend. He's more like a supporting character, but Kristen Stewart's girlfriend hadn't come out to her parents yet, and this is like I'm not gonna talk like if you're gonna watch the movie, I'm not gonna ruin it. The movie just came out like a couple weeks ago, but I just didn't believe, and it's acting right. They didn't have any chemistry. The two women. Like, it was just like the same way, like you kind of hope she got with the other girl. I don't know. It was weird. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, man, Lord of the Rings was fucking really good, bro. Like the battle scenes were crazy. Like the makeup that they did for the orcs, like again, like the CGI, obviously from the first one to the third, incredibly better. Like you could even see the differences with Gollum. Like in the first ones, he was like you could see how like digitized and like off he was, and like you could clearly tell where he wasn't. You know what I mean? Where like obviously there isn't a real Gollum, that isn't a real human, or that isn't a real humanoid or whatever it is. But in the second and third ones, because I think he comes in the second. And the third one, way better. Like the CGI, they put way more money into it, took more time on that. And you really thought that he was like really there. He just had a better presence about him. And the first time they showed him was like, oh, this is rough. It's a little bit hard to see. Like that, moments like that. But seeing like all these people that dressed up as fucking orcs, and because Tolkien is a big time thing. It's fucking huge. But man, that shit was really good. And obviously, you had the Mandalorian that came out with the season finale. You haven't watched it, we'll talk about that probably on Sunday, because by then it had already been a week since it came out. Don't want to ruin it right after, but if you're like most people, I don't know if you waited for all 8 episodes. So if you listen to this, watch this on YouTube, listen to this wherever you get your podcast. Don't want to talk about that just yet. I know people like as soon as the fucking thing comes out, they have like a Watch Mojo thing where they're like, oh, what this really means in season 8 explained or episode 8 explained. Not doing that shit yet. Gonna wait a week because if you haven't watched it, I don't want to ruin it for you. But yeah, Lord of the Rings I could talk about because it came out 20 years ago. Highly recommend it. It's a good time. It's on HBO Max, all 3 movies. I think all 7 movies of Harry Potter are also on HBO Max. This weekend, this Friday, I should say, you have Wonder Woman 1984 coming out. I'm going to watch it just because I like comic books, but the trailers don't look good to me. I'm just, you know what I mean? Just giving you a little couple thoughts on that. Trailer doesn't look good to me. I'll watch it because the fuck else am I going to do? I'm home. It's Christmas Day. Well, which we'll do after like get back from my mom's house and I'm having dinner. Usually do it on Noche Buena, but my stepdad is working, so we do it on Christmas Day. But it doesn't look good. The one I am looking forward to is on Disney Plus with Soul with Jamie Foxx playing the lead character. Definitely already seems like it's gonna be like an Inside Out type of thing where it's gonna have a really big message and people are gonna cry. I'll probably cry. Got no shame in it. I could watch Coco right now and I will cry. No shame. Like Jonathan says, I could do that shit like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Get back in there, tear. But I can't always do it, man. Sometimes it just happens. Look forward to that shit. But yeah, man. 7 hours of not 7 hours, probably like 14 or 15 hours. Who knows how long each movie is for Harry Potter, but the 9 hours spent watching Lord of the Rings was really good. Really, really good. Like you get chills when like Gandalf come back from being Gandalf the Grey to Gandalf the White and being like a fucking master wizard. Shit is fucking dope, bro. Shit is fucking dope. All right, let's get into the last topic of the motherfucking show. A la Madrid. A la Madrid y nada más. That's the remix right there. Nobody sings it, and it's probably not a song that anybody will ever repeat, but you get it. Dude, like, what a fucking difference Real Madrid has been the last 3 weeks, man. From being damn near out of the group stage for the first time first time in forever, to making it through, and now beating Atletico Madrid 2-0, beating Eibar 3-1, I think they beat Valencia 3-1. What the fuck is going on? And then I started thinking, right? This is an older team, right? Like all their key players are late 20s, early 30s. Some are getting to their mid 30s. Like you have the Sergio Ramoses, the Luka Modric. It takes them a little while to get warmed up, right? Like when you have an older car, it takes a couple tricks. You know what I mean? Like you got to talk to it. You got to turn the key. Come on, baby, you got this. Let's get it warmed up. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna figure this out together. And that's kind of what Real Madrid is, right? Like Real Madrid that I'm not gonna say grew up watching, but was exposed to with the European exposure of soccer to me watching, you know what I mean, the BBC, which Bale, Benzema, and Cristiano. That was a fucking Tesla. There was no need for like fuel injection. It was just ready to go. If they were on the pitch, they were gonna find a way to win because they had the three best players on the pitch, and then you had a younger Luka Modric, an amazing Toni Kroos, fucking young Casemiro, which replaced James. The whole reason why I joined the Real Madrid team as a fan. And then you had a young Ramos, Varane, not even a Mendy. You had the greatest left back in the world in Marcelo. And then you had Carvajal, the greatest, if not the second greatest, right back. And then you had Keylor Navas. And before him, you had a motherfucker that I can't remember that Danny's going to fucking text me about. That they let him go as soon as I got Keylor Navas. But you had this team that would dominate. And you get spoiled and you get accustomed to that. So when they struggle, it's difficult, right? So now they have like this weird transition of like really young players and a Vinicius and a Rodrigo on the wings that, you know what I mean? They're replacing a goat and a half goat, I guess, as a right winger, as a Madridista. Because Bale was amazing on the pitch, but just never had the right attitude, I guess. Zidane was not a fan, so ipso facto, or whatever the fucking word is, we become not fans. We see that his attitude on the pitch is different and all this shit. But man, who they've been the last couple of weeks has been a complete turnaround. And again, it's been, I think the season started in September. So it took them about 3 months, but that's calmly what they've been since Cristiano left, since Ronaldo left, right? They've become this team that isn't a fast starting team. It takes them a little while to get warmed up, get the legs on themselves because they're a little bit older. When you get older, take it for a 36-year-old, it takes a little bit longer to do things, right? Got to stretch a little more. Got to, you know what I mean? Your warm-ups have to be a little bit more intense to get the blood pumping and shit like that. And these are world-class athletes. So it took them a little longer because also their routines are completely out of whack with not being able to do the normal things they used to do because of COVID and all this different shit. So it's a lot that goes into it. But I was like, yeah, I'm not saying this team is going to like win Champions League. I'm not saying that at all. I don't think they have the firepower. I don't think they're consistent enough. I don't even know if they'll get out of the fucking groups, not the group stage, but the knockout stages with playing Atalanta. Where I think they have the home and home. I don't know if they brought in like the sudden death thing where like one game and you're out. But I think they have the home and home, so hopefully that's a favorable matchup. But Atalanta has Ciro Immobile, which scores goals at fucking will. But we'll see what they turn into. But, man, who they've been the last couple of weeks in La Liga, and then that great performance, that much-needed performance of against Borussia Mönchengladbach, they've been a totally different team, dude. And it's frustrating to watch because, like, this team has amazing pieces that they should be much better than they are. But you also have to realize they're not as young as they used to be. So they're not going to be the fastest players on the pitch. They're going to get away with, like, doing the little tricks and, you know what I mean, the little veteran tricks that it takes to win a game. So you have great passes from Luka Modric to Benzema yesterday. Benzema with an amazing goal. They won 3-1 against Eibar. Well, Barcelona draws. You don't have to throw that in there. But, yeah, I mean, it's a totally different team, and it's just really fucking weird, dude. But, again, it goes back to the fact that they're older. Hopefully they make some moves next offseason. I don't know if I want any January transfers. I don't want any quick fixes for a long-term thing. You know what I mean? Like, I want a legit plan, which I think they have, which is why you bring back. I think Real Madrid has the most money out of any team in Europe that they need to spend. I think they have like over 100 million euros. I think they need like another center back, probably Upamecano. From RB Salzburg, I think obviously I want Kylian Mbappe. Wouldn't mind Erling Haaland. They need better attacking going forward. Hopefully Hazard gets his shit together and stops getting injured. It's not something that can help, right? But because you see him when he's on the pitch, he could be a real difference maker. When he's been on there, he has assists. He doesn't have that many goals, obviously, because he's been nothing but hurt. But again, like he shows up out of shape last season. It's kind of been the taste that hasn't left anybody's mouth. So they got to figure it out. But I'm excited. I watched the highlights of yesterday's game because we were busy doing shit around the house, so wasn't able to catch it live. But it was pretty cool. Like the pitch and the stadium looked like it was on a rooftop almost, because you could like oversee wherever Ibar is. So I think it was like the Ipuada Stadium or some shit like that. Sorry if I mispronounced it, but yeah, man, it was really fucking cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching the highlights. They look like a totally different team. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what they do in the future. Hopefully they can get it together. I think they got some midweek stuff. Who knows? I don't know if they get the Christmas break like that. Because I know England has games the day right after. It's called like Boxing Day or some shit. But yeah, we'll see, man. I'm excited for it. Hopefully Ferland keeps getting better and attacking down the left side. Carvajal's back and healthy, so that's really good. Not having to have Nacho or Lucas Vasquez play over there, because that's not his place. He's more of a right winger, right mid. So yeah, man, I'm here for it. As always, guys, that's the end of the show. Make sure to follow us on all social medias, Man Chatter Podcast, and subscribe to the channel. Just want to drop that in here, and support us on Man Chatter Patreon, like my good brother Jonathan. All right, guys, catch y'all next time. I gotta get ready for a therapy session. As always, man, mental health is incredibly important during these crazy times. It's not saying that it's gonna help absolutely everything, but it'll help you understand more about you. It's a better way to go about it. I highly recommend it, not just as a veteran, but as a man, and I recommend it to all my friends. It's not something that has to be stigmatized or looked down upon. It's just like every other doctor. But the health of the mind is one of the most important things, man. You start seeing things a lot more clearer, and you start to understand more things about you. I just recommend it always and forever, bro. All right, guys, be safe. Catch y'all on Wednesday. Peace.